Hi guys, welcome back to Solar Smoke Barbecue. I'm sorry, I know it's been a few weeks since the last video. Lots of stuff's been going on. Moved home, started a new job, so I have to apologise for delaying this video. But I thought I'd come back with a big one. I think this is the one we've all been waiting for brisket. We're going to be doing it, of course, on my trusty Weber Smokey Mountain. Again, locally sourced brisket. I didn't order any of this USDA meat that we can get here in the UK. I got this from WT Hill and Son over in Warsaw. So any of you guys watching me from around the West Midlands, if you've got access to Warsaw, fantastic butchers, been there for nearly 100 years I think. Either way, they look really well established. The chap in there, one of the main butchers, he knows his stuff and knows exactly what you're asking for. As you can see, for £18 I've got a huge slab. This is nearly the entire flat, as you would call in America. Over here in the UK we'll call this the lean. I'll be getting this out shortly when we begin the trimming process. But this is a hefty piece of meat, guys. Beautiful quality. So again, we're locally sourcing. So, like I said, we're going to be doing a brisket tomorrow. We're going to be trimming it all up today, getting it seasoned, ready to go on at 7 AM tomorrow morning. I'm really excited on this cook. I know a few of my new subscribers have been asking for some pork ribs. We'll be on to those in just another week. But I think it was time that we got down to the quintessential piece of barbecue, the brisket. We're going to keep it real simple. We're going to be using just salt and pepper. We're going to be smoking over some oak wood. And again, I'm expecting maybe 8-9 hours on this cook, guys. It's going to be a long one, so stick with me on it. But yeah, once again, Solar Smoke is back. We'll be doing our regular weekly videos. So yeah, guys, looking forward to today's cook, and I'll catch you back up here when we're ready to trim and show you the brisket. Alright guys, so here we are. Here's the brisket. Look at the size of this. It's all British beef here. Locally sourced, I believe, from around the Birmingham, West Midlands area. As you can see, I have got the flat part, meaning that it is not the big fatty end, or the point as it's called in the States, where this is a bit more leaner meat. We've still got quite a lot of fat here, but as I say, we will be trimming quite a bit of this off. This is the top side, the fat cap. We're going to be trimming this down, leaving around about a 1/4 inch across the top, just because, as we all know, the fat adds the flavour. So I'll be trimming this down, but not too much, not too heavy. It's not quite a massive thick fat cap. However, on the underside, as you can see, there's going to be a hell of a lot of trimming here. We're going to get most of this down just so we expose meat. Again, I'll be using a razor sharp paring knife to get this down. But remember guys, fat does add flavour, so don't be scared of leaving a little fat on. I know, so we talk about healthy living and no fat and stuff, but when we're talking about barbecue, we know it's going to render down during the cook. We want to leave a bit there just to get the flavours through, but obviously some of this real tough hard fat you can see here, that just no way that's going to render, and that's going to be awful to eat. Sometimes called the decal. It's all here. This is this real hard solid piece here that would run. Obviously the point would be going up here. So as I say, a whole pack of brisket would be something around this sort of size. As I said, we have only got the flat, but that's a hefty piece of meat, more than enough to feed a small army. So what we're going to go ahead, guys, is with the sharp paring knife, you've really got to get in, and it's ideal to be carving up and trimming a brisket whilst it's fresh out of the fridge. Warm fat is a nightmare to have to try and carve, and you can end up slipping and cutting yourself. So like I say, I'm going pretty deep on this. As I said, this is a big fat decal here. It's going to be a hell of a lot of trimming. I reckon it's going to take me around half an hour to get this trimmed down nicely. So guys, as I say, don't rush it. Short, sharp strokes. Don't go down to your meat and start carving off meat, because you don't want to start wasting that. We're literally just getting the fat off here. You can see I'm taking it right down, exposing meat. We're going to take it down to about there, leaving small amounts, just that nice sort of soft sort of fat, none of this hard stuff. This will just ruin your cook, guys. That's the last thing you want to do. I've seen some guys on some Facebook forums recently who are just getting into the smoking, and they wonder, should I just leave all this on? No, you don't leave this on at all. You get this trimmed down to the bare fat. As I say, this is a different type of fat, as you can see on the top side of a brisket, which we will just be taking down to a 1/4 inch thickness for flavour reasons. But you can see the definite difference between this type of fat and this real white hard stuff. All that's coming off, guys. So I'm going to get all this trimmed down again, like I said, just carve down until the level of the meat, because we're already getting the fat off, this hard decal fat. We're not shaving off precious meat. Okay, so I'll get this done now. I'll pick you straight back up once I've got it trimmed down to what I would think is reasonable or acceptable for the cook. I'll talk you through just certain parts of that, how it looks, and you know, this is for the newbies, guys. I know some of you out there just when you look at this like we're going through all the basic steps here, but I'd like to think that we're catering here for the newbies. We're just going through it step by step, really. Everything I learned from watching the videos myself, so I think it's going to be beneficial for those guys. So again, we'll pick up once I've trimmed it down. I'll show you exactly where I did trim and to what levels I did it to, and I'll show you just how much sort of trimmings you can expect to have off a piece of brisket this size. You'll see the amount I have actually trimmed off there. We'll have a look at that. So guys, pick you back up in a couple of minutes. Alright guys, so we're back. As you can see, this looks totally different now. And all you newbie guys, look how much does actually come off once you've trimmed it. I mean, never be afraid and start thinking, because I have seen those comments before on different forums, oh guys, I think I've trimmed off way too much. Guys, that's, you know, that came off this massive piece of meat, you know, that was just all hard fat, or, you know, just nasty piece of gristle that just would never in a million years have rendered down during the smoking process, and, you know, would have ultimately ruined your brisket, or you'd have had, at the very least, a very chewy piece. So yes guys, oh, I just did want to mention, when going into the butchers over here in the UK, certain terms that you may hear on the American YouTube channels or TV programs, such as a pack of brisket or a point of a flat, I found that 8 times out of 10 the butcher didn't know really what I was talking to. But then again, that's the joy of having these mobile phones. Now you can show them what you're after, and 9 times out of 10 they will know exactly then what cut of meat you are requesting. But again, just to go through that, just for, you know, the purpose of this tutorial video, a pack of brisket is basically the whole brisket, the sort of muscle that runs from the chest of a cow going under the leg. That's the whole brisket. So your typical English butcher will know the term whole brisket rather than the packer cut brisket. So again guys, if you are after a whole brisket bought from your local butchers and not one of these specialty online butchers, you'll be asking for a whole brisket. Or again, with flat, you'll ask for the lean part of the brisket. Or again, for the point, which is the fattier end, you'll just again say the fattier end of a brisket, the thicker part. And your butcher should then know what you're talking about. So I just wanted to clear that up, because I know that was something I struggled with when I first started barbecuing, you know, walking into the butchers thinking that was just an international term. A lot of butchers are moving with the times and do know these terms, but as I say, that's what you want to ask for. Okay, but moving on anyway. So guys, you can see just how much of a brisket has been trimmed. This is the top side. Again, you can see I have left some of that nicer fat, the softer, more decent fat that will render down. But again, I have trimmed a lot of it off, leaving little, you know, no more than, I should say, a centimetre actually, really. That's what I've ended up with in places. But nice little pockets across, which will render down and again baste the brisket. I'll be doing it fat side up. That's another issue that people can get into, fat side down, fat side up. I go with up purely because as it starts to render and melt down, the fat itself will then baste the meat as it keeps going through the cook and keep that real moist. I know we have the water pan in the Weber Smoky Mountain, but that's a completely different taste, being basted in its own fat. A bit like your goose fat at Christmas, using that. So, as you can see guys, I have trimmed all the top side. Moving on to the bottom side, you remember the amount of that hard, nasty white fat? Well, take a look now. We're looking at some beautifully fresh, English reared beef brisket there. Trimmed down, you can see just the amount of meat I have on this piece. Once it's trimmed down, it does actually hold quite a lot of meat on there. As people do say when they first see it, oh, that looks all fat and barely any meat, but guys, there really is a lot of meat on these pieces. So again, what I have done there is trimmed it all down completely, got all those hard pockets of fat out. You can see I've really carved into it there. This was probably where the point was attached, as I say. The flat and the point, the lean part and the fatty part, are two separate muscles connected by one deep pocket of fat, the decal. So I did carve that out. There was no way that would have ever rendered, and again, would have produced some awful barbecue. So that was the trimming process. That was the amount you can sort of expect to come off. The next part we're going to be doing is my favourite part. We're going to be seasoning this. My preference, and this is just my own personal preference, is basic and simple. Just the salt and pepper creates a wonderful black, crispy, flavourful bark that we've spoken about in other videos. However, you know, there are all these other elaborate rubs. Some have garlic and onion powder. Some of them, you know, are even sweet, I've heard. I can't imagine the sweet sort of seasonings with the beef. But however, that's down to personal preference. But I will be doing what's probably known as the Texas way, the classic Texas seasoning, just salt and black pepper. The beef itself is pretty tacky, so it should hold it on. However, I do like using the Worcestershire sauce as a binder. I've used mustard before in the past, but I don't really think it worked as well. That's good on the pork, when we season the pork shoulders up for doing the pulled pork. So again guys, we're going to be using Worcestershire sauce as a binder. Then I'll be going with some coarse ground black pepper, some fresh cracked sea salt. You can use the kosher salt, however I'm using this today. And just to build up, because I do like a lot of bark on the beef. So just like that first beef rib video that we did together, I'm going to throw a little bit of the Traeger blackened Saskatchewan on. That's going to be going on, but just lightly, mainly just salt and pepper for the cook. And I'll pick that up in a second when I've got Worcestershire sauce ready, and we'll start seasoning up. Alright guys, so I do have to apologise. It would certainly seem that during the move from house, I have misplaced my Liam Perrin's Worcestershire sauce, but not to worry. Probably should have checked before recording. Like I said, it is tacky enough and it is moist enough to actually go ahead and put the rub straight on, and it probably will stick. So I'm gonna start off with the coarse ground black pepper, and again from a distance, so it doesn't all cake into one part. You're gonna give a good hard liberal coating on this. You know, beef can really take the salt and pepper, so don't be afraid of putting on too much. You know, I do like a good layer of the pepper. That again really helps create that wonderful black crispy bark that we see in all the videos. So again, I'm going to give it a right good coating, and again, not rubbing in, just patting in, sorry. Just pat that all in. Yeah, just as I thought. No need for Worcestershire sauce actually today. This is actually, because obviously I've been handling it, it has come up to room temperature, so it's tacky enough to take the bark, the seasoning even. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm that excited to do the brisket finally. So, you know, sort of like that guys, that sort of coating. And I'm going to go on then with the fresh ground salt. Just all over. Patting that in. Okay. And a little bit of the Traeger. This blackened Saskatchewan, I do love this rub. Wonderful on beef. Wonderful on lamb too, when I did try that. So guys, we're going to get that right all in. Okay. And then we're going to do the other side. Exactly the same guys. Back with the coarse ground pepper. All over. And obviously this is on the exposed meat, so I'm going to try and get as much as I can on to really get the flavours to penetrate the meat. There's no fat cap here to stop it getting in at all, so I'm really going to go fairly heavy actually. You know, I've seen one of those videos recently where Franklin Barbecue. Franklin actually went down to see some of his favourite barbecue joints. Believe one was Louis Mueller's, and if you've ever watched him when he does his beef ribs, he goes to town on the pepper, actually calling it a 6 food group. So again, I can't agree more with that. In barbecue and on beef, don't be afraid of going too hard on the salt and pepper. The flavours that kind of knocks out are phenomenal. This is looking one seriously nice piece of brisket, guys. I'll say I've got family coming over tomorrow, so this is going to be a treat for everyone. It's one of my, so it's one of the longer cooks, and it's one of the more, this can go either terribly well or terribly wrong. I remember doing my first brisket. The first few slices were incredible, and then it was just tough as lead. I'd had spikes in the temperatures. I hadn't carved enough of the fat off, trimmed it down well enough. I didn't particularly know what type of cut to buy. I don't even think it was probably brisket. I just picked some that kind of looked like what I thought it should be. So another reason why I love doing these videos, I wish somebody in the UK had been doing these when I was first getting into barbecue, a complete how-to. And again, guys, just worth noting, don't forget the sides as well. Get them sides seasoned up all over, because we want to bark all over this. I'd say that was looking pretty good, guys. That's what you want to be looking for. That sort of consistency. That's real nice. I think I'm going to go a little bit more on top, just because the fat as well, once it starts to caramelise and render, combined with that pepper, will really create a thick bark, and that's what I do love. This is actually fairly a thick, fatty part here. We might even get some burnt ends that you've heard about in the videos. And just to show you what I'm talking about here, this is actually quite thick for the lean part. It's thicker than down here, so I guess that's where the second part of the brisket would have come up. So you can just see, we may even get some burnt ends out of this. If we can, I'll give it a go. That'll be an added bonus for a video. But yeah, guys, so that's going to be wrapped up in some cling film overnight. It's going to be in the fridge. I am going to have a 7 o'clock start in the morning, so hence why I'm doing this the afternoon before, so that I'm not rushing in the morning, having to get up at a ridiculous time. But I reckon that this will be about 8 or 9 hours. It'll be on the Weber Smokey Mountain. I'm actually wrapping my mother's at the moment. She grows all her own fresh herbs and spices, so we'll be picking some fresh herbs from the garden, maybe some thyme, and that'll be going in the water pan just for some aromatics. So that'll be fun. We'll be picking some all fresh ingredients today, guys, all locally sourced. The herbs extremely local. So we'll pick back up tomorrow, guys, when we get this on the smoker, and I'll really go through the steps tomorrow, because as I say, a brisket is a hard cook. You've really got to watch those temperatures. So I'll be talking you through all the way. We will be using my digital thermometer probes with a Wi-Fi connection, so we'll be monitoring those constantly throughout the day, because that's the make or break of a brisket. But yeah, guys, it's going to be fun. I'm again excited to be doing this video. Pick back up tomorrow, solar smoke. Alright guys, so we're back out at the WSM. Brisket's been on now for about 3 hours. I did put it on at 7 o'clock this morning. I'm running 222 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment. You can see for this cook, like I was telling you yesterday, how important it is to monitor temperature. So you'll notice something different today. I am using my Firma Pro digital thermometer. It's reading both the internal of the meat, and it's also reading the grill grate temperature of the actual smoke itself. Guys, I highly recommend these Firma Pros. This is the second one I had. I broke the first one myself. No fault of the machine itself, but me, I dropped it. But these are super reliable. They're super accurate. Transmits, I think, every 30 seconds to the other unit that's inside the house, so I can monitor the temperatures from inside. Valuable piece of kit here. We've been holding steady for 3 hours. Like I said, I'm using lumpwood charcoal today, and I'm using oak and a mixture of beechwood as well. I'm using some of his Super Grills beechwood wood chips as well. Give you a good tip, guys, go get yourself down to Poundland. This massive bag was only 99p. Can't believe it. But yeah, let's have a look at how the brisket's doing so far. It's been chugging along quite nicely. Wow. So guys, that's for, as you can see, like I told you yesterday, I am doing fat side up. You can really see some of that fat starting to render down there. This is looking really, really nice. There we go, let's have a good look.
yeah, definitely getting some good fat render there. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it fully, but I have got the 57cm water pan almost half full when I started. I've been spritzing down with apple cider vinegar. It goes super well for beef. But guys, that's what it looks like, you know, 3.5 hours in. We're looking real good. You can see a bit of bark starting to develop. You can see the pepper there, all kind of melting down into the fat. So I'll get my lid back on, because obviously you need to keep your temperatures. I don't want to keep it off for too long. But as I say, that was 3.5 hours in. We'll pick back up at, say, the 6-hour mark, so you can see the changes and how the beef should be starting to look. And yeah, catch you in a bit, guys. Hey guys, just a quick catch up. These were the homegrown herbs that I was talking about earlier. So we've got some chives, we've got some rosemary, got some sage in there. What I did was I actually took some of the rosemary, that's all been homegrown here. What you want to do, guys, is collect a few sprigs, and you need to kind of bash them together just to bruise them, and that releases the natural oils of the rosemary. And let me show you what I've done. I've actually gone ahead and put them inside the water pan. Let's have a look down here. I'm sure you can just about... Sorry about that. I'm sure you can just about see them down there in the water bowl. That's going to give us another little dimension to the brisket. Speaking of which, we're sitting down at about 5.5 hours now, so let's have a look and see how we're doing. Here you go, guys. Wow, I mean, you can really see that colour coming on now. We're building up some fantastic bark. We've had quite a lot of fat render. Guys, that's looking insane. We're getting an incredible bark there. That salt and pepper is really doing the trick. As I say, that's about 5.5 hours in. I reckon about 2 or 3 more hours. The probe is reading 150 Fahrenheit internal, so we have hit the stall. It's been there for around about an hour now. As you can see there, hasn't moved for some time, but oh, there we go, 155, sorry. No, sorry, 155 is the actual smoker temperature. 150 internal on the brisket, guys, at 5.5 hours in. Some people might be tempted to ramp up the temperature here, but just like I've told you before in my other videos, stick with it. It will break through, and all of a sudden you'll see the temperature start to soar up. I haven't wrapped yet. I may not wrap during this process. However, if I do, it will be with aluminium foil, just to speed up the process a bit. But so far it's going so well. We're doing well for time, so I think we'll go ahead and stick with that. Yeah, 150. Temperature's coming back up on the smoker. We have been stable at around 225 Fahrenheit. So again, guys, just to pick up and show you the herbs there. Like I say, on Solar Smoke, we like to do everything locally sourced here. So, yep, I think that's about as fresh as you can get. Alright, guys, just a quick catch up. It's now 9 hours, 15 minutes into the cook. You can see I'm still holding pretty steady. Around about 224, 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Brisket is still only at 173 Fahrenheit internal, as you can see. I've decided to opt for the tenting method, sorry. Whereas I've taken some aluminium foil and I've just tented it over the top of a brisket, so not wrapped it, hence why it is taking longer. I haven't done the full Texas crutch, as they call it. What that should result in is a much greater bark. You know, if you've watched people like T-Roy, his bark is absolutely incredible. That midnight black, looking really tasty, really moist inside. So that's what I'm opting for at the moment. I would lift the lid at this moment, but I'm trying to push on with the temperatures. So once we do hit the magic 200, I'll show you the actual tenting first. I won't remove that until I show you on camera, so you can see exactly what I mean. I believe it's a much better method. It's the first time I've tried it. I usually, as I say, wrap it tight in a parcel, but I didn't want that really moist, soggy sort of bark. I'm really going for a deep, crusty but flavourful bark this time. So again, guys, we'll pick back up in a bit. Alright, guys, so we're done. This brisket took 12 hours in the end. I can't believe it, but I just want to point out to all you newbies, every piece of meat's different. Some can take 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. Others are just go for hours. But the end result is perfect. Look at that deep, rich, black, mahogany sort of bark we've achieved. It's tender as butter. I did probe it. It reached 201 Fahrenheit internal. Probes just like butter. I'm very, very excited about how it's come out. So let's have a quick look. You can see the beautiful smoke ring we've got there. Very, very impressed, very happy with how it's gone. So next week we'll be doing pork ribs, but for now, you can really see where the smoke penetrated into the meat there with that smoke ring. But thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed the cook today, just hit subscribe, like what I'm doing. Any requests for future cooks, just let me know. This was brisket, smoked over beech and oak, 12 hours, lumpwood charcoal and some briquettes. But these are the results. We maintained 225 to 250 throughout the whole cook. Yeah, great bark, great seasoning. Couldn't have come out any better. I hope you've enjoyed. And just when you thought the video was over, I had to come back and just show you a slice through. Look at that perfectly rendered fat, juicy, moist, full of flavour. Look at the smoke ring we've achieved, guys. This is a perfect piece of brisket. You can really see how well it's rendered down. Just going through a cross section here. Look at the juices coming out of that, guys. Really successful cook. This has got to be one of my best briskets I've done yet. I'm really happy with it. Once again, Solar Smoke finally signing off.